Let your rich Uncle Rob describe a couple to you and see if this sounds familiar. They live somewhere ordinary. Not a coastal hotspot, not a tiny rural town. Just a place with decent roads, a grocery store 5 minutes away, and a school district people like to brag about. One of them works in product outreach, earning about $59,800 a year. The other works in systems coordination, bringing in roughly $72,300. Together, their household income lands just over $132,000 annually. On paper, that's impressive. In this hypothetical economy, that puts them comfortably above average, somewhere near the top quarter of households. The kind of income that people assume means stability. The kind of income that should mean savings accounts growing, retirement plans filling up, and the occasional guilt-free vacation. But that's not what's happening. Instead, they're tense, not broke, but close enough to feel it. They're hovering around the edge of paycheck to paycheck. Maybe they have 2 months of expenses saved, maybe a little less if you count honestly. When something unexpected happens, like a vehicle problem or a medical bill, it doesn't come out of savings. It goes on a card. Both partners work full-time, often more than full-time. Their calendars barely line up. Most weekdays, they see each other for a short window in the evening, usually while multitasking or scrolling, both too tired to really talk. And the most confusing part? They did everything right. They got educated. They built careers. They combined finances. They bought a home that was within their budget. They followed the script. So why does it feel like they're constantly underwater? If you've ever looked at your combined income and thought, there is no reason this should feel this tight, your rich Uncle Rob wants you to keep listening, because this feeling isn't random. It's structural. Here's the story we were all sold. Two incomes are better than one. It sounds so obvious that questioning it feels almost silly. If one person earning $45,000 can support a household, then two people earning $45,000 each should be able to support that same household with room to spare. Extra money for savings, extra money for investing, extra money for breathing room. Basic math, simple addition. Except that's not what happened. What actually happened was one of the biggest financial bait and switches in modern economic history, and almost nobody noticed it while it was happening. Your rich Uncle Rob likes to call this moment when the safety net became the floor. To understand how the trap formed, we need to rewind to a different era. Not a specific year, just a time when households operated differently. In this earlier version of the economy, most middle-of-the-road families ran on a single primary income. One partner focused on paid work. The other focused on everything else: logistics, planning, maintenance, recovery, and child rearing. That single income wasn't extravagant, but it worked. Housing typically consumed around 20 to 30% of earnings. Transportation was manageable with one main vehicle. Healthcare was simpler and less financially aggressive. Food required time, but not constant optimization. Most importantly, families had margin. And margin is the most underrated financial asset there is. Because margin isn't about luxury, it's about resilience. If the primary earner lost their job, the other adult could step into the workforce. Not ideal, but possible. That second income wasn't required. It was latent, dormant, a backup generator that hadn't been turned on yet. That unused capacity was the real safety net. Now fast forward to today. In the modern household, that backup generator is running all the time. Two incomes aren't optional anymore. They're standard, expected, built into the design of everyday life. In most partnered households, both adults work. Not because they're chasing luxury, but because the baseline cost of living quietly adjusted upward. And here's the critical part your rich Uncle Rob wants you to notice. When two incomes became normal, markets adapted. Housing prices didn't rise because houses magically improved. They rose because buyers had more combined purchasing power. Education access followed the same pattern. So did childcare. So did healthcare. So did transportation. The second income didn't create surplus. It reset the price of admission. This is why modern households earn more on paper but feel more fragile in reality. Yes, median household earnings are higher now than they were decades ago. Adjusted for inflation, people bring in more units, but nearly every unavoidable expense has risen faster. Homes require a larger share of income. Healthcare is no longer occasional, it's continuous. Childcare, once handled internally, now rivals rent. Transportation has expanded from one necessity to two. So households earn more, but they keep less flexibility. Your rich Uncle Rob calls this running faster just to stay in place. Let's talk about where that second income actually goes, because this is where the illusion breaks down. Imagine a household where one partner earns $74,000 and the other earns $49,000. Combined income, $123,000. That second income feels powerful. It feels like the difference maker. But let's follow it step by step. Because of how tiered tax systems work, that second income doesn't get treated the same way the first one does. It gets stacked on top. It's taxed at higher marginal layers. After deductions and contributions, that 49,000 quietly turns into around 31,500 units of actual take-home pay. Already, a big chunk is gone. Two full-time schedules mean someone else has to cover the hours you're not home. Whether that's formal childcare, paid supervision, or structured programs, it adds up. Even conservatively, that's $13,000 to $16,000 per year for one child. More if there are multiple. Now that 31,500 is closer to 16,000. Then come the work-enabled costs. A second commute, more fuel, more maintenance, higher insurance, sometimes a second vehicle altogether. It's easy for this category alone to eat $7,000 to $9,000 annually. Now we're down to maybe $8,000. And we're still not done. Because two exhausted adults have less time and energy for domestic labor. That means more convenience spending, more prepared food, more outsourcing, more "we'll deal with it later" purchases. Call it another $5,000 to $7,000 without trying very hard. And just like that, the second income is nearly gone. In some cases, it's negative. Someone is working thousands of hours per year, missing dinners, sitting in traffic, managing stress, and the household might be netting a few $1,000s or less. That's the quiet math nobody shows you. Here's the psychological part of the trap. Because the gross number looks big, you feel like you should be doing well. You see $123,000 on your paperwork. You qualify for larger obligations. You make decisions based on that combined figure. Banks look at your household and say, yes, you can afford this. Dealers say the same thing. Service providers nod approvingly. And technically, they're right. As long as both incomes keep flowing forever. As long as nothing goes wrong. As long as no one gets sick. No one burns out. No one gets laid off. No one needs to care for a family member. No one wants to step back. That's when the trap closes. Here's the insight your rich Uncle Rob wants to underline. The single-income household of the past had something many modern dual-income households no longer have: a reserve lever. If the primary earner stumbled, lost a job, got sick, or needed time, the second adult could enter paid work. That option didn't make life easy, but it created breathing room. It meant the household had unused capacity waiting in the background. The modern dual-income household has already pulled that lever. Both incomes are fully committed. Fixed costs are built on the assumption that every paycheck will keep arriving on time. Housing, transportation, childcare, insurance, nothing flexes. There's no backup left. No unused capacity. So when one income stops, the household doesn't just lose money. It loses viability. This is why so many financially stressed households aren't low earners. They're fully extended earners. They're operating at 100% capacity with no margin at all, like an engine redlining every second it runs. It works until it doesn't. And when it fails all at once. What makes this especially frustrating is that the second income usually isn't funding extravagance. It's not yachts. It's not luxury watches. It's not endless vacations. It's housing, childcare, healthcare, education, transportation. The fixed costs of participating in the middle class. Housing shows this most clearly. When households competed on one income, prices reflected one income. When two incomes became normal, purchasing power increased, and prices rose to absorb it. If everyone has two incomes become the requirement. Nobody gets ahead. Everyone just pays more. So what's the alternative? This is where your rich Uncle Rob offers a different framework. Stop asking, what can we afford with both incomes? Start asking, what could we survive on with one? This is the one income foundation. It doesn't mean quitting or shrinking your ambitions. It means designing your fixed costs so they don't collapse if one paycheck disappears. Then the second income becomes powerful, because it's optional. Optionality is real wealth. If this helped you see money differently, give it a like. And if you want more breakdowns like this, consider subscribing. Your rich Uncle Rob has plenty more to share.